Hi, you're watching Food Whims and Whimsy, and I'm Carmen DePasquale. Today I'm going to show you how to make St. Joseph pastries 2 ways with 2 fillings. So both my parents are Italian right outside of Naples, and every year we celebrate St. Joseph, and it happens to be Father's Day as well. So to celebrate Father's Day and St. Joseph, we usually make these Zeppoles, or we purchase them in the store. So everybody's always looking for these St. Joseph pastries every year around March 19th. So today I'm going to show you how to make it. So today we're going to be making the Pate Choux recipe, which is also a cream puff recipe of how you make eclairs. And we're going to be using 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of water, 5 eggs, salt, sugar, and 1 stick of butter. Now with the Pate Choux recipe, we're going to be doing 2 fillings, cannoli. And with the cannoli, we're going to use this ricotta. Normally you should use an impastata ricotta, but I could not find it. But this one comes with the holes in the bottom of the can, so you'll pretty much get a close consistency to the impastata. If you find that it's too watery, you can always strain it with a cheesecloth overnight, and it should do the trick. We're also going to be using mini chocolate chips, just plain granulated sugar, and the secret ingredient, which is cinnamon oil, which you can buy at any art supply store. Now next we're going to be making a pastry cream, which also is used in all kinds of pastries like eclairs, cakes, cream puffs, all kinds of different things. And we're going to be using 5 egg yolks, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, just the peel, just to flavor the milk. So we're using 2 cups of milk. We're also going to be using just a little bit of salt, just a pinch, half a cup of sugar, and 1/4 cup of cornstarch. So we're going to start with the pastry cream. I'm going to put 2 cups of whole milk to boil. I also like to use some of the sugar, just divide it. It helps with the scorching of the sugar of the milk. I'm also going to put just the peel of a lemon, just a little bit, just to flavor the oil. You just want the yellow part, the zest. Okay, that should be good, and then I'll remove it right before we use it for the cream. So while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and put the cornstarch in this bowl, and also the sugar. I'm going to give it a good mix. And you really want to mix it up really good before you add the eggs, because the sugar actually will burn the egg yolks if it sits on the eggs. So you don't want to do that. So once that's mixed in, I'll add the egg yolks. You can add them all in at the same time for this. And you want to mix until it's a pale yellow. This might take a little bit. So the milk has come up to temperature. You can see a ring of bubbles. That means it's ready. It's right before the boil. That's where we want it. And so you want to start tempering your eggs, just like this. And the reason why you temper your eggs is so they don't cook, the milk doesn't cook the eggs. You want to do this very gradually, just like that. Little at a time, just like this. So now that's all mixed in, I'm going to go ahead and put this right back onto the stove, where we're going to vigorously stir for about 2 minutes. And you want to do this constantly on low heat if possible. So I'm just going to lower my heat a little bit. Throw this out. And you want to do it for at least 2 minutes so that it cooks out the cornstarch and it thickens up. And I also removed the lemon peel. I'm also going to add just a pinch of salt. Keep mixing for a good 2 minutes. Okay, so see how thick it's getting? It's about ready. I'm going to add in the vanilla. And you see how thick it is? So now if you pull up to it, you can see that ribbons are forming. And that's what it means if it takes a few minutes to get to the bottom. And also ribbons are forming when it hits, just like that. So this is ready to go. Now we're gonna just put it in a bowl and cool it down. So once you get the filling in the bowl, you do want to cover it with plastic wrap, and it does have to touch the surface of the custard so you don't form a skin. And I'm gonna chill this. You should chill it for at least 4 hours, but I did chill it for overnight. And this will stay good for about 5 days, but no more than that in the fridge. You can't freeze this, unfortunately. So next we're gonna do the other filling, which is the cannoli filling. And this is obviously for cannolis, but it's great in other pastries like the St. Joseph pastry. And it's a great alternative for those who don't like the pastry cream. Now today we are gonna be using this ricotta. Now normally you would wanna use a Ricotta Impastata, but it's very hard to find. So you can just use this. And I did speak to the seller and he says that this would be a great alternative to the Impastata. So I'm gonna go ahead and use it. But now if you were to use store-bought ricotta, you would wanna strain that with a cheesecloth. So we're gonna go ahead and use 24 ounces of ricotta, just like that. And I'm gonna beat this for about 2 minutes. You wanna make it very smooth. So the ricotta is nice and smooth now. You don't wanna skip this step because if you do, you will have a grainy product and it's just not gonna be right. If you're wondering where to buy a product like this, I purchased this in an Italian specialty store. I live in New York and I pretty much lived most of my life in Arthur Avenue, which is an Italian section of the Bronx. So if you can't find it in an Italian specialty store, just a really good supermarket, a specialty supermarket. Also, if you notice, this can has holes in it, so it drained while it sat. So that's why it's great to use this product in particular. So another secret ingredient is cinnamon oil, and I purchased this in the art supply store. It could be hard to find, so you do have to go to an art supply store. And you want to use 1 to 2 drops because this is potent stuff. If you use more than that, you will ruin the product. So I'm just literally going to put 1 to 2 drops. So next would be the granulated sugar. It's delicious. And lastly, I'm just gonna add a 1/4 cup of chocolate chips. You can use semi-sweet, you can use bittersweet, but I like milk chocolate because I find if you use like a darker chocolate, it could make the cannoli cream bitter. Also, it's best to put the chocolate chips in maybe the day before, no more than that. Because I find that it makes it cloud if it's like a few days in. So this is ready to go. I'm going to refrigerate it. And we'll move on to the pate choux. Now that we have the 2 fillings sitting in the fridge waiting for us, we're going to start on the pate choux recipe. You want to preheat your oven to 400 degrees if you decide to bake these. We are also going to be frying, but I'll show you how to bake them as well. So we're going to start by putting the water, 1 cup of water, and the salt and sugar, and we're also going to throw in the butter, which is a stick. Oop. So we're going to let that melt a little bit, and once it comes to the boil, we'll throw the flour in. So now that it's come to a boil, we're going to go ahead and throw the flour all in at the same time. And we're going to mix like crazy for about 2 minutes. You want to form like a ball. And you really want to get the film on the bottom. That's how you know it's ready to go. So see that film on the bottom? That's telling me that it's ready to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix it a little bit more because I want to make sure the flour tastes out and make it as dry as possible. You definitely don't want a moist dough ball. So at this stage, it's like a little ball. We're going to go ahead and put it right in the mixer. cool that off a little bit. Let it go for about a minute or so. So now that's been cooling for a little bit, about a minute or so, I'm going to go ahead and throw in an egg at a time. You just want to do, well, 1 or 2 eggs at a time. Usually 1 egg, but that slipped by. And let that get really good mixed in before you add the next egg. So the pate choux is done. I'm going to go ahead and just take it off the beater. And I'm going to add it to the piping bag. I have an open star tip on the bottom. These bags are small, that's all I have today. But we'll just use several bags. So I'll go ahead and, just to make it easier, I use a glass if I'm doing it alone. And it also keeps it pretty neat. So I'm going to show you how to bake them off. So what I like to do is, just to make a little template, I'm using a tuna fish can. And I go like this. Today, just for the show, I'm going to make 6. But you should try to make as many as possible. I'm going to bake 6 and I'm going to fry the rest. So now that the template's ready, you don't want to cook on marker, so you just want to turn that over just like that. And now you have a template that you can use. Now, the oven's preheated and it's ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and start piping. Takes some practice, but do the best you can. And you want to keep it inside the circle. Do the best you can. I'm going to do 2 layers. Just like that. So I'm making 6 in total, so I'm going to bake off 4 and I'm going to fry 2 so you can see both. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the oven for 100 degrees for 15 minutes, and then I'm going to lower the temperature to 375 for an additional 20 minutes. So these 2 we're going to be frying, and so you want to do the same thing. Make the template, turn over the paper, and pipe your design exactly the same way. So the oil is at temperature, it's about 350 degrees, so I'm going to go ahead and take it right on the parchment paper and throw it right in, just like that. When it's ready to go, the parchment paper will come off on its own. Okay, comes off right easy. And you do that to every one of them. Let that cook until golden brown. So I baked these off in the oven for 15 minutes on 400 degrees and then an additional 15 minutes on 375. And they're very light and they're ready to go. So they're nice and crisp. So we're gonna just let them sit here and let them cool a little bit. So now that they've come out of the oven, I'm gonna show you how to assemble it. So I like to just cut right in half. And if you look inside, you have the nice airy bubbles. And then I like to fill mine just like a sandwich. And I'm going to use cannoli cream first. Just like that. Okay. Put the top on. And do a little bit more cannoli cream. Just like that. And I like to finish mine off with the cherries. We didn't talk about the cherries, but these are cherries from Bologna in Italy. They're called Amarena sour cherries. So I like to put a little of the juice, 1 cherry, and a little of the juice just like that. And there you go. I also like to add a little powdered sugar. And that's 1. So I'll assemble all of them and then I'll show you when they're all done. So we'll go ahead and do the pastry cream, just like that. Same thing, you want to just fill it in. Add a couple of cherries. These are sweet, so you really don't need to add too many. Close it up. Add a little more cream on top. And a little more cherry. And And then I like to do a little powdered sugar, just like that. Doesn't that look great? Oh my goodness. That's 3. And then I'll finish them off and I'll come right back to you. So here we have it, St. Joseph pastry done 2 ways. We have them fried and we have them baked. We also made 2 fillings, 1 pastry cream and 1 cannoli cream. I hope you liked this video. If you do, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. You're watching Food Whims and Whimsy, and I'm Carmen DePasquale.